All right, we're live today, Saturday, March 1st, 2025. Geez, I'm still back in 1975. It was a better year. How to Draw the Rude Way, reprint. We're going to reprint the animated book on how we draw things, but we're going to call it a different name. You guys have been tuning into this and already know this. But before we do it, we need 300 signups. We're doing better than last time. We have 105 right now. But we need 300. Goal is to launch in May, and sign up by going to the link on your screen. I think everyone knows that, who's a millennium. My age, maybe not. Videos supported by Patreon. My friend Kevin Koch, I call him Kevin Koch. His name is Kevin Cook. Kevin Cook is a longtime friend of mine. Kevin Koch, I'm just going to call him, has been with me since 1988 when he volunteered to join the ragtag staff of helping me do my animated Nexus. This was a time when none of us knew what was going on. We know what's going on now because of all the trial and error. But Kevin was one of the first guys to volunteer. He's since gone on to be an animator at DreamWorks. He was the president of the Animation Union. Nothing to sneeze at. And he's currently been in overseas. And I'm in some place I can't really remember right now. But I'll think of it. You know, he's been there for a long time. And right now he's going through what is very typical in the animation business, which is the stupid boss syndrome. Stupid bosses are everywhere. How did they get in? We don't know. But they're always there. They're always going to be there. Normally they're people that don't even know how to animate. They know how to become a suit. And that is a disaster. That is a recipe for disaster. And every one of you guys that have worked in the animation business that have encountered that, that's going to change. If it's not going to change with you guys in the business, it's going to change with me if I get my show. Because I have a list of things that are going to appall the purists in animation, because I'm actually bringing it back to things that make sense. And all the money's going back into the show instead of greasing the palm of top executives that have no business even being there in the first place. Disney's one of the worst places in the world to work right now. I don't think the others are far behind, and it's all because people like to play games, and we have no time for that crap in the Rude Dude reality here. You guys wanted to know about, here's what I got from my little sheet here. Let's show how artists can break down any figure in the world, according to my little method here, okay? Which is in the Steve Rude How to Draw Animated Nexus book. See the examples I have here? Can you get any bigger than that? It all comes down to the same thing. There's no difference. None. Every figure is broken down the same way. If Leonardo was here right now, he'd be saying, yes, Steve, you're right. Let's show him how to do it. So I'm going to show you how to do it. So we're going to draw Miss Mona Lisa here in the same way that Leonardo probably himself did it. Because it's all the same. There's no difference. Everything has to be constructed. Everything that's real is going to have an element of light and shade to it. There's her smile. I don't know if Leonardo got it the first time or the 20th time, but this is the way it works. Now, you smart guys out there already know this stuff, so I'm going to just keep it brief. But this is how things are put together. It's the same with everyone. There's no change unless you're a genius like I said, like a Jack Kirby type, who can actually draw starting up here and going down here in perfect symmetry and proportion. You're going to have to do it the old-fashioned way, the hard way, like the way I'm doing it right here. Oh, she's got a hairnet. I bet you guys didn't know that. This is black, okay? It's not this idiotic mixture of burnt umber and ultramarine blue. It's black, okay? That's what they used back then. So you sissies that are all afraid of black, I'm sick of hearing about that. If you don't want to use it, fine, don't use it. You're just shortchanging yourself when it comes to art because you're afraid of it. And fear is no way to run your life. If we had a black pencil, and we really wanted to get into some minutia here, that's what you would get. Same thing, there's no difference. Now it's just a matter of recovering the actual proportions of these features here. If we were to take tracing paper and going over it, you'd find out that it's made no different than anything else. Leonardo, again, I would have found Raphael, but I couldn't dig it up in time. Next. You guys have heard me talk about a lot of things as far as idiotic trends, or rather properties that artists always go on about. Let's get a black pencil here. Here, it's black. Close to it. And I'm just, I'm so fed up with these rules people talk about, like, don't use this and don't use that. This is the product of stupid art teachers. You remember Letterman's thing on stupid pet tricks? Well, this is stupid artist tricks here. And they continue to use them because they don't think for themselves. They listen to the stupid teachers, and stupid teachers tell them what they can do and not do, and what's right and what's wrong. Really, is that right? Okay, well, I don't think so. So we're finding the greatest artists, so-called, by the art press, is being the greatest living people as artists. I don't know what the hell they're talking about half the time. I don't think they're right about almost anything. There's nothing worse than an art critic that doesn't know how to draw. They shouldn't be commenting on these things, but they do because they think they should. This is a very brief thing. This is probably how Leonardo himself started off, doing what we call a little sketch. This is how we all do it. And it's just a matter of mapping things out, getting them in place, and putting them in the right order, so you get the likeness that you've got here. This is a statue. This isn't a painting right here, but it's measure your proportions out. If you don't know them, that's fine. It takes a long time to learn these things. I told you how the human brain works. It's very slow when it comes to figuring things out. Especially mine. So, in all likelihood, this is what Leonardo started off with. Some kind of a, you can call it whatever you want. I don't care what you call it. It's just some thing to get something down on paper. One of the things I'm doing here that you guys have seen before many times is how I hold a pencil. There are some good things about art school, depending on the teacher. This is how you learn to have flexibility in your line work right here. This is too limiting because you're just using your wrist. This is using your whole arm and your whole shoulder. Okay. So there's dead whomever in Mary's arms. Here's one of the greatest artists I know about. But before we show you that, let's go to a statue. stick it up there. Okay. Same thing. There's no difference here. Everything is based on the same thing. It's just, anyway, this is, if you could figure this out, most all artists work like this. And they work like this because it's the best way to work. If it wasn't, you would have known it by now. This isn't the way everyone works. That's not possible. There's too many variations in people's brain waves to think of everything as just being one thing. And that's fine, but it takes a long time to learn what that is sometimes. It doesn't come overnight. It's not meant to. Here's one thing you can do sometimes when you're working on silhouettes. This is a very good example of just light and shadow. There's very little halftone in here. Halftone is this kind of stuff. Okay, on a really sunny day, if you're looking at something, it's practically like this. There's no actual halftone. Halftone is just the graduating area that all objects have depending on what kind of light they're in. So if this was our sphere outside, there would be very little darkness in this right here. It depends on the light. Light tells you everything that you're working with. What else do we not want to show today? Okay, Sargent. Great master. I don't know who did this one right here. I think that's someone else. I think that's one of the Boston guys. So let's draw the old lady here. Is there any variation in what I'm showing you here? No, there's not. It's the same way. Everyone wants to know the secrets. Well, I did too. And everyone else who starts out wants to know the secrets. I think what they're really asking is, do I really have to devote all this time to figuring this stuff out? Well, it takes as long as it takes. And if you're someone who's stubborn enough not to give in and overcome the odds that everybody has to overcome when they're learning these foundational things right here, then you stand a chance. And don't think I'm immune to any of these problems myself. I go through problems all the time. Every day there's some kind of a failure going on. I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I've been trained to figure out any kind of problem. And I'm not able to do it sometimes, and it really pisses me off. But I'm stubborn. And you should be too. Stubborn people don't know how to give up. They just keep going, going, going. And it stands to reason that something's got to break at some point. Something's got to happen. That all this work pays off somehow. This old lady right here, this is a great example of what I'm trying to show you here as far as rendering goes. Now, the first thing you have to think about is this thing is an object. You can call it a head. Everything's got a name to it. But it's an object first. And an object has this dark spot, this dark spot. These are all very light. The light is causing these shadows to fall over it, but it's a very diffuse light. If it wasn't a diffuse light, these shadows will be much sharper. So think of this as cloudy daylight, okay? I've given so many demos over the years at different schools and all that stuff. You know, like most guys do after a certain amount of time. They get called in to show people how to do it. Well, I think the main thing is not to forget you were a student once. And the really smart guys like me and you were always students. There's no such thing as a master. Mastery is nonsense. Mastery is an illusion that people want to make themselves into that is not possible. We're all students. We're all trying. If you see somebody who's really good, it just means they've been failing a lot longer than you have. Okay? Let's grab some more stuff here. We'll keep working on this same piece of paper here. This is very, very thin bond paper right here. It's mostly made for markers, but it's great to draw on because it's very smooth. Here's a sergeant. Why do I keep bringing up Sargent? Well, did you know that there was a point when Sargent was lauded as the greatest artist to come along at the time, and then these dumbass art critics come in and say, well, he's passé. We got a new thing going on now. I could kill people like that. And if they're here right now, I demonstrate. Proportions, proportions. What is an eye? This is an eye right here, guys. Here's the lids. And it's got this dark thing that got a pupil in. And the light goes through there and it hits the back of your head somewhere, the way a camera would, the way a camera works. I mean, how do you think we figured out how to make cameras work? It's based on the human eye. It's dark over here, so we'll make it dark. Why is it dark? It's dark because... Why is it dark, Steve? It's dark because there's light on here. And when light's not hitting something, it tends to turn into a shadow. A shadow is nothing more than a dark light. This is stuff that, if you want to be a realist, there's no way around it. And there shouldn't be. This is supposed to be the rite of passage here that everyone goes through. People that seem to perform magic when you're looking at them do this kind of stuff are people that either, well, it's hard to say, you know, there's a whole bunch of different reasons for it. Some are because they have what I call, what do I call it? An accelerated aptitude. I remember in art school there was always some dumbass who was way better than me, and those guys went on to do nothing, but they were always really, really good. But remember, there's a story of the tortoise and the hare, guys. Don't forget about that. All right, that's going to be it for today. I'm really pissed off. I don't want to be here, but I'm glad you tuned in. And send in some comments, but learn how to spell first. I'll see you next week.